Charles Christie, pleased to meet you.
Thanks, Doctor.
So good day, John. How you going? I don't think I've met you before. Welcome to the clinic. What's been going on?
I don't know, not much really.
So where do you live around here? Do you have what's your story?
Oh, just on a farm, a couple of k's out.
And what do you do on the farm?
Oh, I don't do much anymore.
No? So you've sort of retired a little bit?
Call it that, I suppose. Yeah.
So who's running the farm? Are the kids involved in that, or?
Yeah, well, my son is running the farm, yeah.
And how's it going? Are you pretty happy with the way the farm's going?
Oh, yeah, I suppose. It's going all right. I just don't understand what he's doing much. You know.
He's got a bit of a different way of doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just different. Just call it computer stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't understand it. All this, marketing on the computer. I went on this website, and it's got a script that wants me to say. I'm here today because I've been told that it is important that I talk to you about how I'm coping. I recently did an online checkup on the iFarmWell website and found that I was experiencing very high levels of stress. I just said a couple of things here. I reckon I'm drinking a bit too much.
Okay. So when you say, or you've said you're feeling distressed, what sort of things are you feeling? What sort of things are you noticing about how you're feeling?
Well, I don't give a shit about anything anymore. I don't want to get up in the morning. I have a lot of arguments with my wife. And I don't care less about anything, really.
Yeah.
Just.
How are you sleeping at night?
Oh, no.
You're not sleeping?
Not well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I wake up and I feel really tired still, so. And.
Do you have any hobbies or interests?
Well, I used to play a lot of bowls and play bridge and.
Yeah.
No.
So you're not doing much
No,
of that
I'm
anymore?
not doing anything
Lost
like
a bit of interest?
Yeah, I don't care less about that.
You mentioned that you've been drinking a bit.
Yeah.
So what time of the day would you have your first drink?
Oh. I don't know. Sort of. Maybe first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning? Would you describe your mood as sad?
Yeah.
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 How's your wife's mood? Is she a happy person?
No, she seems a bit sad,
Bit sad?
distant. Yeah, she don't talk to me much anymore, really.
Does she drink with you?
No.
No, you drink on your own.
Yeah.
Do you go out together to the sort of social clubs or the pub or?
Well, we used to, but I just don't feel
Don't feel like it now.
No, I don't feel like going out anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't
So
care.
it sounds to me, John, that you're feeling pretty low, and some of these symptoms you're describing are things we might see in someone who's a bit depressed.
Oh.
So have you heard about anything about depression in the past?
Oh. There's some questions here that I've got, because depression, what can you tell me about medication?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, the good news about medication, it may not be necessary at the moment. That's the first good news. The second news is that it works extremely well and it's well tolerated. But we won't worry too much about medication today. I just want to get to know you a bit and to find out, what's going on in your life and whether some of the things you can change without taking medication. Whether some of the things are easy to change at home. I always say there's the things you can change and there's the things you can't change. So, we'll just reflect a little on that. Have you ever thought about talking to a counsellor or anything of that nature?
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah, and that's a very good first step.
Yeah.
That's a great first step. So we'll have this conversation. And then the good news is that there are some very well trained and skilled people who are used to dealing with situations like yours and can really help putting things in place that might make you feel better. I can certainly help with talking to you as we are today, and I can also help if need be by starting some medication, which, as I say, is certainly one of the options. Now, you say that your son's sort of really running the farm now, and you're feeling that you've lost a bit of control. Have I sort of got that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you might not do things the way he does them.
No.
And he might do things...
He's doing things really different. He sort of shut me out too. Like, I don't have any... I make suggestions and, 40 years of experience, and he doesn't care less. And
he may be feeling, a bit intimidated is a strong word, but sort of, that I've got to live up to Dad's expectation, and so he's maybe a bit defensive and sort of thinking, oh, I don't want to talk to Dad about that because, or I want to make sure that I do it right. So that he, those are thoughts you could have about him too. How are the finances on the farm and with your family?
That I don't know, and I guess that's what worries me. We used to save up for rainy days and stuff like that. But look, with the trading they do on the internet, I don't know what debts we've got, and I think that really worries me. My father's brother lost his farm through over-committing, and I don't know, maybe that's why I'm worried about that.
All right, well that's a big concern, isn't it?
Well, it is. Yeah, I don't want to lose the farm. We put a lot of time and effort and work in it.
So you find it a bit hard to know where to go from here.
I do.
You're sort of walled in a bit in a place that you're not that comfortable.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing that you've come to see me. It really is.
Yeah.
The first thing you have to do in this situation is have a talk with someone who's outside of the square.
Yeah.
And just sort of see what options there are to help you feel better.
Yeah.
And work towards positive outcomes.
The thing is, I don't know. I don't want to be with people. It's hard work.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to be with people.
Yeah. And that's part of the depressive situation that you're in at the moment. But as I say, if we tackle this little by little, try and wind back the alcohol a little bit, get out and do a little bit more that you can tolerate. Yeah. One of the things I am worried about is your drinking. I'll tell you why. I'm not a wowser, okay, but alcohol has been shown to be quite contributory or one of the causes of depression and mental illness. So alcohol itself can make you feel a bit sad, particularly if you're drinking too much. So I think an important thing for you to have a look at is how much you're drinking and whether you can cut that back a bit. So this puts you at risk of physical illness, liver disease, and it puts you at a much higher risk of mental illness, particularly depression and anxiety.
Well, it helps me cope,
Yeah, no, I understand that, but it's not one of the best coping mechanisms, we call it. The best coping mechanisms are things like social activity, sport, hobbies, pastimes, things like that. And I can see that you're just not interested in that at the moment. But it gives us somewhere to move towards. How do you feel about what I've been saying?
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to get off the booze,
I don't want you necessarily to think about straight away getting off the booze. That's not the plan.
Right.
I don't think. I think the plan is to maybe just try and reduce quite considerably how much you're drinking. And the best way to do that, maybe to start with, is to just set your drinking times. Because when you were a working man, you didn't have a drink in the morning before you started.
No. Only after a hard day.
Yeah, and you get home and you have a couple of beers and a wine with dinner maybe or something like that, and that was fine.
Yeah,
so that's the sort of target we want to try and get back to is so starting the day with something else other than alcohol. And that could be, have you got a dog or something like that? You get on well with the dog?
Yeah.
Maybe taking the dog for a walk, and sort of go and see what's going on the farm. I mean, don't stick your nose in too much and upset your son, but go down wherever he might be and have a look. I'm just wandering about, because your son's probably worried about you as well.
I don't know.
Yeah, he probably is. He's probably a bit worried. So to see you out and about might be a good thing.
Right.
Maybe ask him if there's anything you can do to help him, because he may well be looking for some stuff that you could support him with, but he's probably feeling embarrassed to ask you. But if you sort of go, is there anything I can help you with today? You know, I'm a bit bored and elusive. So start your day off on a different footstep, you know, like try and hold out for that first drink till the evening. It's going to be difficult, but what you've got to do is replace it with something else. But I'm sure, as I said earlier, he'll still want some advice from the old man.
Yeah. I hope, maybe. I hope so. Yeah.
The other thing we can establish, as I was saying, is this a GP mental health care plan. It sounds like, what on earth's that? It's just a Medicare initiative to help people like yourself access psychologists, and the government pay for some of it, so the burden of cost to you is not much. So if we put this mental health care plan in place, then you can get access to the psychologists, and the government pays some of the fee for you. So if you're worried about money and things like that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
You write down some more questions like you've done there when you talk about these things with your good wife.
Off the website. So.
Do you want me just to have a look at that before you go?
Sure.
And I'll just have a look and see if there's anything else on there. What should I expect? You should expect to get better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking here. And we've talked a bit about medication, and we've had some ideas about reducing your drinking and finding some sort of hobbies or pastimes. So John, it's great that you found that website. And before we go, I'd just like to suggest that maybe you work through some of the other modules that are on the website. I've had a quick look through it myself, it's fairly new, but they look very good. So I encourage you to, between now and the time we meet again, is to look through some of those. All right, my friend?
Okay.
You're happy with that?
Yeah, okay. That's given us a start, I
So
suppose.
please make the appointment, a double appointment for Friday,
Okay.
to come back and see me, and we'll put some of these other strategies in place. Bring your questions and your wife if you wish.
Okay, Doctor.
Okay?
Yeah, all right.
No worries. And wish you all the best.
Okay, thanks,
And
Doctor.
look after yourself. You know where I am if you
Yep.
need me.